Greetings metalheads and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I'm back with another new-ish release review for you because it's been out for a few months now, but it did come out in 2024, so in my mind that's still new-ish. And I was a little bit late to the party on purchasing this one, shamefully, but it is yet another posthumous, from beyond the grave release from the mighty Motorhead, the immortal Motorhead. Another release for yet another anniversary. So this is Remorse? No. Or Remorse? No. However you want to say it, don't know. But it is the 40th anniversary of the legendary compilation No Remorse. So this release for me, as I'm sure it was and has been for many Motorhead fans, the first exposure I ever had to Motorhead. And this copy is actually pinched from my father, who suggested to me I must have been 12, 13 years old at most, suggested to me as I was showing an interest in music in the first place, but heavy music from the off, suggested that I needed to hear Motorhead. And I remember seeing the cover. I remember hearing that for the first time, and bearing in mind I was already into Slipknot and Trivium and bands like that, more accessible, more mainstream metal bands. Mainstream metal bands rather. I was completely bowled over. My mind was blown. It was the speed, it was the fast and loose playing. From the off, I loved it. And I have loved and adored Motorhead's music ever since. I saw them a number of times, I think 5 times in total. And I was deeply saddened when the original lineup there was progressively passing away. That was a very sad time. But anyway, here we are, 40 years after No Remorse, we now get Remorse No. Now this one, I almost feel a little bit sad to say that I have very mixed feelings about it, because I absolutely loved this compilation. This compilation contains some of the best tracks, some of the best Motorhead tracks from that period up to Ace of Spades. And it flows, it works, it's got a good sound to it. But this is a little bit kind of all over the place. Remorse No says here on the little sticker, which did adorn the cellophane on the front there, it says, a 40th anniversary reimagined redux of 1984's legendary compilation No Remorse on 2 CD featuring previously unreleased rare and live tracks and new sleeve notes. And I will say that the package you get here is very nice. Cool photography. All of these recent sort of BMG reissues have been very nice, actually. They've done a good job. It feels respectful, but I'm just not entirely convinced by some of the content. Certainly on my first listen, I was very much expecting it to be this very much just No Remorse, just done again. And they've tried, certainly for the first part of the first album, they've tried, first disc, to keep the lineup, the track list in pretty much the same order there, and then just given up after about 4 songs. So what you actually get kicking off this album is a version of Ace of Spades which I have not heard before, and I don't ever think I need to hear it again. It's an alternate version which is rough and raw. I'm okay with the original. You know, I enjoy the original Ace of Spades. Fine, it's not my favourite Motorhead song. Definitely not. I do feel that is one that is overrated a little bit. It's an album that is solid, but there's a lot more Motorhead material out there that I want to hear so much more. So that version is doesn't do it for me. Not great. We then get a live version of the legendary Motorhead track from the Hollywood Palladium, October 84. Again, that sounds like it's lifted straight from the soundboard. It sounds really raw. Not raw in a kind of, yeah, this is rough and ready sort of stuff. It sounds really quite low quality. We then get Jailbait, an alternative version there, which is a little bit better, kind of revives things a little bit. Stay Clean, Soundcheck at Newcastle. Sounds like a Soundcheck recording, definitely. Things do get a bit better with a couple of demos here. We've got Poison and Killed by Death. Two pretty reasonable versions there. Two legendary favourite tracks from that kind of era. You know, it picks things up a bit, saves the day a little bit there. An alternate version of Bomber doesn't go amiss. That is pretty decent. It's not massively different from Bomber, just the original. Then we get Jackson's studio demo of Iron Fist, which is, again, it's basically just a raw, scratchier version of Iron Fist. Okay, not sure if that's essential or not. Then we get an interesting couple of demo tracks, which actually appear on the deluxe 40th anniversary version of Another Perfect Day, which is another perfect album, in my opinion. I love that album. So you get Climber, which is a demo of Shine, and then you get Chinese, which is One Track Mind. They're actually really good. They're good demo versions. I particularly like the demo here of Chinese. I feel like that's almost like an extended, meandering version of particularly great track from that album. I think One Track Mind is one of the highlights there. We then get an instrumental of Hump on Your Back, which seems a bit obscure and random, but it's okay. A demo of Snaggletooth, which Snaggletooth is one of the highlights of this album. This album? One of the highlights of this album, rather. Absolutely love Snaggletooth. That was one of the new material tracks at the time. New material that featured on No Remorse. So the demo is nice, but not essential listening. The single edit of Overkill is something that I have always felt a bit funny about, and it still makes me feel a bit funny. I don't necessarily enjoy that kind of abbreviated, shorter version that's just got the first section of Overkill, the first double bass drum assault up to the end of that kind of section. Is it? Yeah, okay, it's fine. It's a single edit, but I don't really want to hear that. I want to hear the full, extended Overkill. Under the Knife, the fast version, is pretty good. 12-inch single there, pretty good track. That's one of the highlights, certainly from the second disc here. Good, sort of Bomber era sounding Motorhead. Stone Dead Forever, okay, that's fine. Like a Nightmare, that's alright, demo version there. Over the Top is always a welcome track, and this particularly rough version there, it's okay. You know, it's just a good stomping track. Steal Your Face is probably another one of the highlights from this album, and from disc 2 in particular. So that was if I remember correctly, I think Steal Your Face was a B-side from, I want to say Death Forever. Certainly one of the singles from Orgasmatron. Really having to scour my brain, my Motorhead trivia there. So it's a good track. I enjoy that, definitely. Steal Your Face is a solid track in that live form. I think it was also just a live track. I don't know if there is a studio one. I'm not sure. I could be getting totally confused now, but regardless, that's a particular highlight from this one. Louis Louis, as you have to say it. You have to pronounce it like that, of course. Louis Louis. Trying to mimic Lemmy there. Okay, yeah, fine. Not particularly keen on that one anyway. It's a good kind of rockin' cover that they do. Not even sure who did the original there, but hey. Instrumental of No Class is, again, enjoyable listening, but not essential. The Under the Knife demo slow version is a little bit more enjoyable. Again, I think both parts, the Under the Knife fast and slow versions, they're both enjoyable. I dig that, definitely. We Are the Road Crew, an alternate version. Again, I can't help but feel like it's a little bit too kind of rough, and I'd actually rather just listen to the original, definitely, or some of the live versions. You Ain't Gonna Live Forever, a Bomber outtake there, and then yeah, that's again not essential listening, but it's quite enjoyable. And then a demo of Locomotive. So it does really just feel a bit kind of all over the place. This definitely has the feeling of just being an assortment of random bits and pieces, leftovers from over the years. And this is definitely not something that I would signpost a aspiring Motorhead fan to listen to. It hasn't got that kind of essential listening that Overkill, Bomber, Inferno, Motorizer, pretty much any other Motorhead album, certainly studio album and No Remorse as a compilation, in a majority of the live albums, I would happily signpost you to and say, if you love Motorhead, or if you love fast and loose music, if you love speed metal, rock and roll, heavy metal, thrash, you're going to dig this. You know, there's so much great Motorhead material out there that this is a little bit underwhelming. I think I have enjoyed listening to it, and I do enjoy certain elements of it. I'd say the highlights for me are Poison and Killed by Death demos from the first side. The alternate version of Bomber is a good one. I like that. The demos of Climate and Chinese from Another Perfect Day are good. But again, even that's past the time frame of, keep picking that up. This particular album, the album that's based on No Remorse, even the Snaggletooth demo is okay, but it just kind of underwhelms a little bit. If you're just going to take this as being a release that compiles a lot of loose ends, and you're an avid, die-hard, devoted Motorhead fan that just wants to hear everything there ever was, then fine. Enjoy it. You're going to love it. But if you want to hear some good, solid Motorhead that you can just kind of get into, it's probably not the place to go. Highlights, as I mentioned, from the second disc, Under the Knife, both the fast and slow are decent. Over the Top's okay there, and Still Your Face, definitely. So it's got some highlights there. You know, I'm not going to say that it's terrible, because that would be unfair. The little booklet and the information is interesting and nice enough. It's a nice package. It's a nice package there, but it doesn't take too many tracks of listening to it, and I've listened to it a number of times before this review, before I think, to be honest, I just kind of want to listen to the studio albums, or I want to put on some of the great live albums. You know, Motorhead have so many live albums, including this lovely Lost Tapes box set that came out recently. I've recently acquired, I think it was Live at Brixton 87, which is solid, from that rock and roll tour. Stage Fright. There is so many cracking Motorhead live albums out there. Absolutely fantastic stuff. So check them out if you want to tour to Motorhead, and maybe just check out the live albums instead, or the studio albums, I should say. But I'm not going to completely write this off and say it's terrible. I'm going to say it's got its moments, but it does feel a little bit unnecessary. I think it's a little bit of a wasted potential. Certainly for the 40th anniversary of No Remorse, I feel like they probably could have done a bit more with that. They probably could have maybe kept the track list the same and just given us live versions, like good live versions from either unreleased live material or live recordings, or maybe some highlighted shows, or maybe if there were some alternate takes that were good of these tracks, then maybe we could have had them rather than, throwing in what does feel like a lot of random odds and sods in there. But I love Motorhead. So yes, I picked it up. I'll have it in the collection. I'd say if you're a Motorhead fanatic or a devotee, then definitely check it out. You might find some versions in there that you quite enjoy. But for the more casual Motorhead fan, probably not the place to go to. But Motorhead, where would the heavy music world be without Motorhead? I know I've talked a lot on the channel about Motorhead recently, and rightfully so, because I love Motorhead. Fantastic, legendary band. Highly deserved that praise. So, as I say, if you're a Motorhead fan, you might want to check it out just for the sake of it. You may be a little bit skeptical. I would say that there's a few moments on there that are probably worth checking out, but overall, this is not essential listening. It's quite enjoyable for a Motorhead fan like myself that knows the catalogue inside out. Yeah, it's alright, but not essential. Kind of feel a bit sad saying that because I love Motorhead, but go and check out some of the deeper cut albums. Check out We Are Motorhead. Check out Snakebite Love, Overnight Sensation. Check out Kiss of Death, Hammered. There's so many great Motorhead albums out there that are more essential than Remorse No. But what are your thoughts and opinions on Remorse No? Would Lemmy be proud? Would Filthy Animal Taylor have an absolute meltdown? Would Fast Eddie be speeding off into the distance? Who knows? But what I can say is Lemmy's a legend, Motorhead a legendary. Hey, plenty of cracking material in their catalogue to check out and enjoy instead. But what do you think about Remorse No? What are your thoughts on Motorhead? What are your thoughts on this one? Very interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others, as always. Thank you very much for watching. Please do feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. Really do appreciate the support. Check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy things. Until next time, take care of yourselves and stay heavy.